So this tutorial, I'll talk about how to create the laminated curve using SketchUp. So trying to replicate this design. So if you think about this part here being the laminated curve, we're going to ignore the part that you made in Sapili, this additional part that we added later on. So mainly focus or only focusing on the laminated curve initially, remembering that we have a 6mm hole going through here along with a 50mm radius. A 25mm radius being added to the top and to this bottom surface down here. Now, to do this, what I would do is I'd start with a rectangle tool. Click once, and you'll notice that it sticks to the blue color. I click left on my keyboard, and then it's now allowing me to send it up and across. So approximate sizes, I would say, are about 150mm, comma, and then space 200, and I'm hitting enter. And that'll give me a space to work in. So what I've done is I've drawn a box, much the same as you did when you used your blue foam or styrofoam to create your former. Chose a piece of material that was slightly bigger than we actually needed. So what I'll then do is draw on from the center point, probably a bit further. So that's the center line. I'll draw that on, get rid of that later. So I'm going to go probably somewhere, looking at that, we'll try it from here. We'll go down to there. With my arc tool, I'm then going to click once, twice, 3 times. Disappeared for some reason. Try that again. So we'll go from about here. There we go. Now that curve to me looks a little bit too steep, so I am going to go back to here. Potentially too shallow. So again, a bit of trial and error here. Might be that I need to move. Oops. So it might be that I need to move that line slightly further back. What I can then do is rub out the lines that I no longer need. So hopefully that's starting to look a little bit more like the curve that we have on there. So making sure that we rub out all the lines that we don't need. Now, the angle on there doesn't look accurate enough to me. I think it needs to be a little bit steeper. So I'm going to rub that out. That looks okay. Now, you have a material thickness. Now, when you made this, you either used 3 or 4 layers of air apply. So with each layer being 1.5 thick, so we're going to go for 4 layers for this. So you're looking at 6mm for your thickness. So to do that, what I'm going to do is another tool within here. So rather than using the push pull and the follow me tool that we've used before, we'll use the offset tool. So I'm going to click on the line itself, and you'll notice that it's offsetting the line that we've drawn. So 6mm is there, and let go. What you will need to do is just finish off that top line and extend the bottom line. What I'll then do is delete or rub out or erase the lines we don't need. Now it's too long over here, so I think something along there is probably more realistic. I can rub out that line. What I'll then do is rub out all the additional lines from before. So that was there purely for construction purposes. And then I'm left with the side profile, which hopefully you agree looks similar to what's currently on your screen. What I'll then do is it's 50mm from side to side, push-pull tool back on, 50 enter, and we have a piece drawn. So the last things to do, we have the radius on the top and the radius on the bottom to add in. And to do that, what we'll do is for this, we'll do it nice and easy. The center's found for me, so I'm going to go to the edge. We'll do that. We'll erase all the lines that we don't need. So in this case, all of those. Now, some tiny, tiny lines there. Oops. And the nice thing with this is it should allow me just to pull that down and then remove all the material. So you've got that nice finish that you've all got on your actual finished product. Same then to do on the top here. So just use the circle tool, it's easy. The center's done for us. We go back to the center, back to the top. Very similar to how you probably drew this on your actual project. Rub out what we don't need. Now in this case, because it's on an angle, it might not work as well. So you're going to end up with a little bit of excess material, but that's easy to remove later on. Work quite as well. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is just rub out, using the eraser, all of those additional features that we don't need. And what you now have, minus the hole, is your project. So we'll just finish that up with adding, so I am going to go back onto here, go across to that. Oops, not quite where it should be. Redraw that circle is probably best. The radius of 25. So I'm going to use that center line there. And this time type in, so it's a hole of 6mm diameter, 3 enter, it's a nice taut small hole. We'll rub out that extra circle. So again, it's really useful to use construction lines to draw lots of these things. What we can then do is use the push-pull tool, hopefully, to send that through to there. And you then have the hole that you've used to create your your hole for the metal bar. The only thing worth noticing is at the moment is the angle that is incorrect. So I am going to remove that temporarily and just leave that on as a reference point rather than actually cut out that hole. To finish that up, again, you can highlight it, right click, or if you want to get used to the shorter version, just triple click, select the whole object, right click and make component. And in this case, we'll call it laminated curve. That's your third component then drawn, ready to